Arkansans that that's the way it is. They just learn to work, and they're afraid of what life's going to look like when they quit work.
I'm 60 and I feel retirement knocking on my door. I've been working in a labor-intensive job for years now, and I'm worried that I won't make it once I'm done working. What's the best strategy for transitioning from my current career to full retirement? Well, Donna, thanks for the question. And you're not alone on thinking about retiring, but not really sure if you're ready and not really sure if you really want to because you don't know what's on the other side, right? You have to retire to something, not from something. Purpose matters, and we're going to get into that too. But when I say you're not alone, we did look up some data for you. According to the Employee Benefit Research Institute and the Transamerica Center for Retirement Studies, the average over 50 worker who was surveyed in this study expects to retire at age 67, but the most common age in the United States is 62. So the big takeaway there is people retire earlier than they expect to. And the main reasons are declining health or corporate downsizing. So in other words, they lose their job or they can't work anymore because of health. And Donna kind of alludes to that, Tim, with a labor-intensive job, but she's worried she won't make it if she does a full stop.
I've had a lot of clients that have been in labor-intensive jobs, and many of them have worked since their teenage years, and so it's just something that's ingrained in them. And there's a lot of Central Arkansans that that's the way it is. They just learn to work, and they're afraid of what life's going to look like when they quit work. And so oftentimes here we need to have something, as Scott mentioned, that we retire into, something that you're going to be spending your time with. That could be actually a work retirement. Maybe you don't completely quit. Maybe you cut back on your hours and you work 2 or 3 days a week, something like that. Or maybe it's another job that you just want to do to keep you occupied, but something you've always wanted to do, and you need to start doing that and planning for that maybe before you actually completely step away from your job. But that is one of the big concerns about what am I going to do after I quit working, and what's retirement look like. So you really have to have a plan for retirement. There are studies out there that show that, people that retire earlier usually have a longer life because there's more stress, especially on the body, maybe on the mind, as we get into our 60s and we're still working full time. So that's one of the reasons you might want to be able to cut back and maybe extend your life in that way by taking some of that stress off that maybe we don't even realize we have.
I think it's important to think, Donna, and for anyone else who's like Donna, to think about this in two pieces. There's the financial side of retirement, and there's the psychological side of retirement that Donna's alluding to here. Some people step off into that in retirement and have no problem, but Donna's clearly indicating that she's worried that she will. You have to address the psychological side first, because I think that leads to the financial side and determining what you can and you can't do with those plans. So make some plans. Think about the purpose. We talked about that. What are you going to spend your time doing? Do you like to volunteer? Do you have family? Do you have a good social network? Make sure those things are in place if possible. And then Tim mentioned the work retirement. Do you have a job currently that will allow you to cut back on hours and reduce the time spent in that labor-intensive job, but at the same time be able to earn some income? And if you don't, maybe you need to look for another one. And then once you have those things in place, figuring out how you're going to spend your time will help you evaluate how much money you're going to need to do that. Because, when you are retired, every day is Saturday. So your time spend is important to connect to the financial side, Tim. And that's where it brings us back to the financial side, and we need to discuss income.
Again, it's going back to what you said earlier, when do you reach financial independence? Because that will help you to determine what maybe you need to do in retirement as far as working after you maybe quit your full-time job. But what is that number? What is that monthly number of income that you need to make sure that all your expenses are taken care of? And once you have that taken care of and it's covered, then you have that financial freedom. And then you're able to do what you want to do, whether it's continue to work, maybe work part-time, or even volunteer work for nothing. And that also helps you determine when's the best time to take Social Security, maybe start pensions, other things like that might be available to you. I think one of the big things here, especially when it's coming to quit working, especially for men, oftentimes men get their identity from what they do. Mm-hmm. And so oftentimes it's that psychological part of that about if I quit this, I'm no longer that, and I don't have that identity anymore. And so they have to be able to get past that from the psychological point of view, too.
Yeah, so that's just a few things there, Donna, to think about when crafting a strategy to transition from your current career to full retirement. And again, it comes back to the planning process, getting a written plan together. Once you've thought all of those things over, from how you're going to spend your time and what it's going to cost to do that, and built a retirement income plan, you'll be able to see that strategy in place, and you'll be able to know that what you can do and how much you might need to work, when you need to claim Social Security. All those pieces fall into place.